like it. Woo! Welcome into the Ron Ross Radio Show podcast for today being July the 9th. Wow. July 9th already, just after 11 a.m. East. That is 8 a.m. Pacific. How you doing? I'm Ron. That dude over there is John Yaglinski, who is the executive producer, partner in crime, my partner here on the podcast. And I like the fact that we've been able to work together now for well over a year. And we haven't ripped each other's heads off. If anything else,
not yet.
I would think we have grown a deeper appreciation for the because we spent a lot of time apart. John and I worked together in the 90s. And then so that's when we saw each other every day. But then it was later on, you know, I'm married and kids, he's married and kids. We would occasionally see each other. You know, it was hard to get babysitters and stuff, and there were parties. We'd crossed paths, holidays. I think you came to Friendsgiving one year and our anniversary.
A number of years.
And we've been down to your place, and I offered to help with the Christmas lights, and I never did. And
yeah, there's that. But
you know, hollow promises. That's me.
There's anything wrong with that.
But so now, ironically or weirdly or whatever,
or ironically,
you know, over what 800 miles away, and this is the closest we've ever been.
Right.
So,
no figure.
I know it's weird.
I'm still trying to drag Ron down to the low country.
Oh, it's happening. It is happening.
All right.
Trust me. I've been looking at calendars and dates and stuff like that.
All right.
So that is a thing. And it's going to be road trip. I know I've read all these things about now. You know, there's an airport near us in Hagerstown.
Yes.
Which fly, they have jets and they fly into Orlando and Myrtle Beach. And that's it. I mean, if there was something, if they flew into the low country, I'd be on it because it's cheap too. Allegiant Air, it's a cheap flight, man.
Allegiant actually flies into Savannah. But it may not fly from,
but not from Hagerstown
to Savannah.
I think you would have to go to, like, I don't know,
somewhere else,
Dulles or wherever, maybe Nashville. And
flights. You could be here. We could figure this out. We have the power of the internet.
We will figure it out with a summer vacation.
Have a reason.
So we just had the 4th of July, woohoo, Independence Day on Thursday. Now, I had to, I was on the air at my full-time job, which is doing afternoons at Key 103. So I was there. We were at Baker Park, which is the big park in downtown Frederick, and that's where the fireworks go off and all that. So we were set. We had a big cornhole tournament because it was all of the radio stations in the group. So 106.9 The Eagle and not Hope. What is that? Life is the new Christian station that we have, and also yeah, I know. And Max Country. So we were all set up, and we had the cornhole tournament that was going on, and it was a lot of fun. Although it was like playing cornhole on the surface of the sun. It was unbelievably hot.
It's a heat dome, Ron.
I was broadcasting on location. All right. Yeah. And I'm sitting here, I have my laptop out and all of that. And I have my little remote mic and my microphone, have my headphones on. I'm talking to people and I'm watching that radar because they kept saying that there were severe thunderstorms coming through. And I'm like, oh no, this is going to be bad. It's going to be,
here we go.
And you know, it was the weirdest thing, John. I mean, we were watching it and the skies did look foreboding, but it literally went to our north and to our south, never hit us. And then when I was done there, I didn't stick around for the fireworks. I went home, greatest wife ever. And I went over to a friend's house and we were barbecuing and all that stuff. But greatest wife ever brought up a really good point because we had seen our hometown fireworks the week before on the 28th. Kinda. It was from the car. There was a big rainstorm. Remember that story from last week. So, and she brought it up again. And I have to agree with the woman. I mean, not that I wouldn't, but you know, she has a great point, which is it's so disappointing and you feel really old when you have a 4th of July and no fireworks because there wasn't any in around our town. And to go there to Frederick or the national fireworks, or come on, you're dealing with just thousands and thousands and thousands of people and traffic and crowds and what have you. And we walked down into this field that was right behind our friend's house, and we're standing there, and a lot of people were setting them off in the distance. Legal fireworks in the state of Maryland.
Ground fireworks, right?
Yeah, ground, totally ground, totally ground. I didn't see anything. Yeah, right. Yeah. No. Mm-hmm. But she brought up a very good point, which is it's kind of you don't see any fireworks. You don't actually have any fireworks. It's kind of you're like yeah. Although we did watch, we started watching we got home in time to watch the end of the Macy's. I didn't realize this. But Macy's, they do the Thanksgiving Day parade, of course, obviously, and now they have 4th of July fireworks. So they're trying to get the 2 major holidays.
4 barges out in the Hudson River. Yeah,
out in the Hudson River, I guess. So
it's fantastic. No, but you know what? Your observation is correct, because for the last 2 years, we sat out on our back deck and watched fireworks in the distance. But not really a fireworks show. And it didn't feel right. So this year we went to Shelter Cove Town Center area.
Oh, good. So you went downtown.
And
as downtown as you could get.
We actually went across from downtown and watched the fireworks on Broad Creek, which is the creek that goes down the middle of the island. So but they were a little bit far out. And we also saw another town across the way, about 30 miles away, setting fireworks off. Yeah, theirs went on for like almost an hour. Like ours were 20 minutes. We had fireworks envy.
That is that is interesting. I've been in the middle of fireworks. I have worked at radio stations where even at the Middletown fireworks.
Yeah,
where we provided the music for tune into the radio station, and we have all of
they would do that here,
and we had all of the playing all the marches and all the patriotic music and proud to be an American, and of course now my new favorite,
coming to America
today. Now my favorite, although it wasn't out at the time. Is now I really like Miley Cyrus Party in the USA.
Party in the USA.
I'm sorry. I love it. I think I'm like, woot, woot, yeah.
Okay. Well, I
mean, hands up. Anyway, so I've done that. I've been in the middle of that. And then there were some memories of years ago when I played, I was in a band and we were a little acoustic trio, and we played in the beer garden in Baker Park.
In the beer garden?
And we played, and we played in between sets. There were bands in the band shell, and in between sets we played. Everybody's in the beer garden, and we had a great time, and it was a party, and it was fantastic. So when that was done, and then the final group went on, and then they went off at like 9:00, and everybody's waiting for the fireworks. But we had cleaned up, and they shut the beer garden down at like 8:00. So we, when that final band was on, so I packed all my stuff up, and we were just sitting there. It was the greatest life ever, and I and Mike, the guitarist in the band, and we're just sitting there, and the whole beer garden, they kept all the snow fencing up, so nobody came inside. So we had our own little private area.
Your enclave. Your
and the fireworks was right there, and we just sat there like do with private parking, and so that probably would have been the best time I saw fireworks. And I told you my national fireworks story last week.
Yeah, so, I have an observation, and I want to test this out on you.
All right, go.
Which was over the 4th of July in years past. Again, I told you we sat out on our back deck, and then all through the night leading up to it, days before, rockets going off all times of the night. People just going crazy. 4th of July, certainly there was pre-show, post-show, like neighbors and people all over the island shooting off crazy amounts of fireworks, right?
Right.
This year, no.
Really interesting.
And so I'm just wondering whether the economy has hit us all a little bit and people just didn't have the spare money to go buy the extra fireworks.
Well,
Like
you
the
technically
groceries were more important. Maybe.
you are literally blowing money
Right.
when you spend it on
Blowing up
fireworks.
money. Yeah. No, I just wanted to know if you noticed that, because around here it was bedlam. Like you were in a war zone before and after.
Yeah.
People take
No.
their fireworks seriously in South Carolina.
No, it was
And
like that
eating off
during the
counter
pandemic, during lockdown.
apparently. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah, you noticed that nothing was going on.
It just was not. I mean,
Yeah.
there was the occasional, but
Yeah.
before we had people all around us. Like when we would, when the official fireworks show was over, or even before, people were
Oh, yeah.
up off into the night, and it usually didn't calm down until about 1 a.m. But it might be too that it was on a Thursday, so that might have affected things.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I noticed that around here so
All
much.
right.
It's still so. It seemed to be
Just curious.
well, you know,
Comment
around
in the
here,
street.
the fireworks are on the Saturday before the 4th, whenever that
Well,
is.
see, yeah, ours
Yeah.
were on the actual night.
And if the 4th falls on a Saturday, it'll be the week before, because they don't want to conflict with the big city fireworks, the Frederick fireworks.
Yeah,
So the
makes sense, I guess.
we did see some on the 4th, I guess on the 28th when they went on around our town. Not so much because remember there was a big rain shower that was coming through.
Yeah,
The deluge, and I know you like that word.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we did see some isolated pockets, but it was raining and pouring and bad, so people weren't really firing them off that much. So long answer to your question was, no, I haven't really noticed a difference.
Anybody else, if you feel like commenting,
yeah,
or after the show, or whenever you listen,
or call and leave a message.
240-415-9090.
240-415-9090. I got another notification about our phone number, so I don't,
Really?
Yeah, I did. You got another email. So
what did it say? We haven't used it, or haven't?
Yeah. Notice your Google line.
All right. Well, I'm gonna log into it right now.
Are you? Okay, good. All right. So no fireworks. It was just kind of weird.
Okay.
And the greatest wife ever. She has great astute observations that she throws out just in the middle of something, and you're just like, yeah, exactly, because she's crystallized my thoughts exactly. And it may be about this, that, or the other thing, but she just has this way of putting it that is it's like she's plucked it from my from my frontal lobe. I'm like, what, get out of my head, what are you doing?
Very nice.
But she had it was a fair point there about the fireworks on the 4th of July. So we're in the middle of it's very, very hot where we are. Heat index going up to like 105 today.
Yes.
And there is some yard work for me to do, and I'm just not doing it. It's too. I mean,
I did it last night at.
Did you?
30 minutes before sunset. I went out and mowed the yard.
Okay. Because it's I mean, well, we got a guy who mows our yard, but I mean, there's other things. I mean, I got to trim. The forsythia is growing out of control, and I still have to go and plant grass in the front yard and all that stuff. But if you're not doing it at 7, we were sitting out on the deck this morning and drinking our coffee like we usually do, and it was 8:30, and you could just feel the heat was coming in. It was a gorgeous morning, not a cloud in the sky, really nice where we are in mid-Maryland, but you could just feel the heat was just piling on, and it'll be close to 100 tomorrow where we are. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff for me to do, and I know the people who get paid to do jobs like roofing
or HVAC
and HVAC work.
Yeah.
And I had a bunch of friends who've done that, and I have another friend who's an electrician, and he's got to crawl up in attics and all that stuff, which have no AC. So it's thankless jobs.
It's thankless. Well, we had a battery backup put on our solar system, so we could operate off the grid if the power went out recently.
Sure.
About a week ago.
Yeah.
Poor guy. Like he just would come in because he was coming in and out to do stuff, and it just It's totally soaked.
Soaked.
And he's a good guy too. And I love him, and I felt bad. I'm like, stay inside for a little bit.
Yeah, I've got an appreciation for
ice water.
Everybody who does this outdoor. I saw they're even doing road work, and even the flag people now have seats. They've got it's an all yellow safety yellow outfit,
right?
But now they've got like what amounts to almost a pith helmet, and then this drapery around the back, so you don't have sun blazing in and burning their necks, and as they just stand there in the sun with their stop or slow signs or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't envy all that work to do outside in this. They don't call it off, and you can't work at night because I think it's more expensive. There's after hours pay. I don't know how that pay is tiered, but I would assume in high traffic areas, when they do the paving overnight, because there's going to be a lot of traffic. Yeah, I get that. But still, middle of the day, all that, you can hear somebody getting a new roof because you hear that the air gun, the pneumatic air gun, nail gun, just going do 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 do.
Yeah, that's going on,
and then pause, do, 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 and then pause.
Yeah,
as they're laying shingles down or laying the tar paper down, and and you're just sitting there like your cup of coffee, going, ah, that's painful. It's painful.
It is.
I
feel bad. I had one of those jobs when I was in my high school and early college years where I worked in a metal stamping plant.
Did you really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was about talk about getting a new appreciation for things as a teen and how hard some people work. Meanwhile, I was dreaming of working in a air-conditioned studio.
I want to be in radio.
Yeah, in radio. These guys had been there 30 or 40 years and had been grinding out during the summer. You had to wear work boots, you had to wear long pants, jeans, heavy jeans, and it was 110, 115 degrees, and air was barely moving in that place. So yeah, I mean, be thankful sometimes, man, and be also thankful for the people who bust their to do the stuff that keeps the country moving.
Well, I've worked in kitchens. I was a cook.
Yeah, that oh gosh, yeah.
Now, most recently, the kitchen I worked at like 10, 15 years ago, that was an air-conditioned kitchen. Okay, which and he was very proud of that. He's like, I put an air conditioning unit in here, it's just for the kitchen. I'm like, oh, it's a great idea. Yeah. And so it kept it bearable. But I've been in kitchens where when you turn from the walk-in, you go in the walk-in and you just stand there like the walk-in cooler, or even the freezer.
Thank goodness.
Just you're like, oh my god, oh Lord, oh my Lord. And then you have to go back out, and all the heat's coming off the deep fat fryers are coming out, or when you place a steak down on the grill and the flame comes, you're like, oh, there you go, there it is. I feel that.
There go the eyebrow.
Yeah. Woo! That's yeah. So all your restaurants, all your cooks, they're feeling it as well, and your servers. I mean, it's in the heat, it's tough. It's very, very tough. Yeah. So I just saw this ad, or actually not an ad. It was a Facebook post of a friend of mine, and it was an ad. It was a picture of the newspaper ad from 1979 advertising the return of Kiss. 2 nights at the Capitol Center. Come see, witness the spectacle.
There will be no opening act.
No, there was an opening act. It was New England. So July 7th and 8th, the return of Kiss. And tickets are $10 and $7 available at all Maryland water bedroom. I forget what it was. They were water. Yeah, it was water. Maryland. I forget.
Why were
waterbed
available at the waterbed?
Yeah, waterbed. They were a Ticketmaster or a Ticketron outlet. Ticketron and all Macy's and no, at the time it wasn't. Who was it? Hex? I forget. Was it Hex?
It was probably Hex.
Hex had all of the Ticketron tickets, and the closest one to us was at Lake Forest Mall. But and that was my first concert. I was 13 years old. 14?
Kiss was your first concert?
1979. Well, I mean, okay.
You've been through this before.
Technically, my first concert was John Denver.
See? Well, it's not technically, it was your first concert. There is no technical.
Okay. This was my second big time concert.
You could say your first rock concert.
I was a huge Kiss fan. And to give you a little history about the band, they had done 3 studio albums and then their first live album, which was Kiss Alive, which came out in 1975. And then that was huge. And that's where Rock and Roll All Night came off of that. And that was a hit off of that. Then they did 3 more studio albums. It was Destroyer, Rock and Roll Over, and Love Gun. And they toured after each one. And then after Love Gun, and this was 1977, and that was their biggest. They were the biggest band in the U.S. And their Love Gun tour, it was just unbelievable. And that was their last tour before they took a break. Then they came out with a live 2 and then double platinum, just kind of appease people which is the greatest hits album, even though they didn't really have that many.
It's the record company
contract. Do something.
Yeah.
And then there was then they put out 4 solo albums. They each did a solo album. Yeah. They released them all simultaneously. They all had covers with their a painting of them in their makeup. And anyway, so the solo albums, again, no touring. So they hadn't toured since 77. And then they finally reunited and they put out an album called Dynasty, which had the disco hit on it. I was made for loving you, baby. Exactly.
Yeah.
Huge hit. And everybody was kind of putting a little disco beat into their music. It did. little keyboard action.
Yeah.
I was
it was great.
So they toured on that. And they had slowly progressed through the years, from the macabre, it was all black leather and studs and all of that stuff and the big platform shoes, to a little bit more glittery spangles, kind of glitter, more circusy kind of stuff, coming off of the
showmanship,
off of Destroyer and those albums, and then the Love Gun album, their costumes. So in front with you had the monster boots for Gene, and Space Ace had this weird thing. Anyway, so when they finally came back for the Dynasty tour, which was billed as the return of Kiss, they all had capes. It was super Kiss. They were children's superheroes.
They were.
Okay? They had capes.
Versions of the dolls that you could buy.
No, those were the Love Gun costumes. Come on, man. I've got this information. I know what I'm talking about. But they were basically, this is where you had kids who were coming to the concerts. It wasn't just a bunch of teens who and people in the early 20s.
Was this during the one where they made the movie that they were at the amusement park or whatever?
Yes.
Okay, so that's where they crossed to everybody. It was like everybody loved the Kiss at that.
Kiss meets the no, that was no. Based on their popularity from 1977 as the biggest band in 1978,
right?
They did a made-for-TV movie,
right,
called "Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park."
I remember,
and it was absolutely horrible, terrible, and such an embarrassment.
Oh, the acting was,
and it's not one of the "it's so bad it's good." It's so bad. I didn't want to show my face in school the next day. Everybody knew
that you were the Kiss guy.
Everybody knew I was a big fan. And hey, watch it. It's on tonight. Blah, 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 blah. And then Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park was on NBC, and it was a travesty.
Really? I remember sort of liking it as a kid.
Did you like Sgt. Pepper's with the Bee Gees and Peter Frampton?
I never watched that until years later. So I don't have the advantage of putting it in the space and time of when it occurred.
Now, I can't say a bad word about it, because the greatest wife ever was a Peter Frampton fan. And she loves every second of it.
I love the Bee Gees.
I just remember being in the theater watching that going, oh no. What have they done? I liked Peter Frampton. I liked the Bee Gees, and I loved the Beatles. And I'm like, what have you done to all three of those? Anyway,
Okay.
Kiss Meets Phantom of the Park. Then they did the solo albums. Then so they returned, and it was the return of Super Kiss.
Okay.
One of my memories, and I get to see them. My dad bought tickets. It was scandalous. I keep saying they were $13 a ticket, and he was freaking out about that. I think that's with the service charge and parking and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Also, my poor father had to drive us down to the Capitol Center, which was an hour away from our house, and then go find something to do for a couple hours while we were at the show, because he didn't have
no interest in going. Yeah.
No, he didn't buy us a ticket or himself a ticket. He had zero interest in going in. So yeah, so there we were. And I just distinctly remember we were stage right. I'm sorry, house right. As you're looking at the stage to the right side. And we were up in a tier. So we were almost stage level, maybe a little bit more looking down on the stage, but it was so close. So close. However, they had brought so many loudspeakers, that they couldn't, quote unquote, fly them from the ceiling. Usually they put them on these big chains and they suspend them from the ceiling of the venue.
Right.
There were too many. So what they did is they put these giant scaffolds on either side of the stage, these wings, and just stacked them there, which basically took out the drum set and the whole right side of the stage for me.
So do you think,
Didn't see it.
So I know there were bands who used to do that stuff, but only some of them would be working legitimate.
It sure sounded like they were working, because when they came out, and they usually opened every show with a song called Deuce, which is the first song of their first album. And it's the song on Alive. It opens every concert was Deuce. They opened it with Deuce.
Okay.
And then later they started opening with Detroit Rock City. But it was only because I had heard them in a radio interview on WPGC in the afternoon with Scott Shannon, who was doing
legendary Scott Shannon.
Huh?
Legendary Scott Shannon
was doing afternoon drive at WPGC. FM and AM Morningside, which I never understood what was FM and AM Morningside. I'm like, it's 2:00 in the afternoon. Why are you saying FM and AM Morningside? Morningside, Maryland. That's who they were licensed to. I'm like,
they were doing.
I had no idea.
That was like Z93 in Dayton, Ohio, who were licensed to Eaton, Ohio. And their top of the hour was Z93, Eaton, Dayton, and Springfield alive.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are.
So that's how they got their top of the hour ID. And radio.
Anyway,
radio people.
It was only because I heard that interview that I heard that their opening song was going to be King of the Nighttime World. Did not recognize it.
I don't even know what that is
at all. Well, it's the second song on the first side of Destroyer.
Yeah,
it's the song that follows Detroit Rock City.
Deep track.
And I'm just saying. But here's what I heard. Here is my. Oh, by the way, the entire concert is on. It is on YouTube. You can look it up. It's July 7th. It might be the July 8th show at the Capitol Center.
Somebody illegally cam it or something?
Well, the Capitol Center had cameras at the time. They had that. They were one of the few places that had the speakers. The screens that hung in the center with the scoreboard, for the Capitals and the Washington Bullets.
Later to become the Wizards.
But they were the Baltimore Bullets.
Right.
And moved from Baltimore.
Even worse.
Then to DC. So they they have video footage of the whole show.
Somebody saved it. Somebody hit the record button.
You can hear hell out. Here you go. Here's my impression. They, because they have the same introduction. You're one of the best. You got the best, the hottest band in the world. Cheers. And then they rise out of the back of the stage. Well, two of them did. I couldn't see the right hand side.
Right, because they were blocked by.
And then as soon as this is what I heard.
That's it.
Not an exaggeration.
No.
That was the whole show. Threshold. I didn't have any earplugs. It was the threshold of pain.
Yeah.
I just heard that was it. Whole show.
There's no fun in that.
Nah, it wasn't fun.
It's
I
like
was
when
a
we went to
little.
see
They were
Rush
right
at the
there. It
Capitol
was so
Center with
amazing
you.
to see that they were right there. They were
Yeah.
right there. It was amazing. There they are. The guys I've seen in the
Right.
album covers and magazines and all that stuff, and I just could not enjoy.
Do you remember seeing Rush at the Capitol Center with me
Yeah.
and the wife? I mean, we were like second or third row.
Did we have second row? We had
Ridiculous.
second row.
Yeah.
Right.
And how loud that was.
I don't remember it being that loud.
Oh, dear God.
Well, that was after years of wearing headphones.
Yeah, that was one of the loudest concerts I've ever been to.
Okay, fast forward.
Right.
I want to say fast forward to 1996. Now, I'd seen Kiss a bunch of times, and I'd seen them in a half-empty venue in Baltimore, the Baltimore Civic Center, during their makeup days and their non-makeup days when they were like 80s hair band, and they only set up the floor seats halfway back.
Right.
You know, it was
like
so I'd seen all of those shows, and I'd seen a tune-up show at Hammerjacks in Baltimore, which is this legendary nightclub, and had used my radio station poll to get on the guest list.
Yeah.
Which was the guest list spelled Gues, and it was the Lightning Bolt S. Guest list LI Lightning Bolt S T. I'm like, can I have a copy of that? No.
Sorry.
Sure?
Yeah.
Because there it was. There was my name. Ron Ross +1. It was very exciting. So and so I'd seen all those shows. So they come out, they're gonna do a makeup reunion tour. All right. So they got rid of their guitar player, Bruce Kulick, who had been in the band forever, and who was their drummer at the time? Eric Carr, I think. Was he there? Was he going? I don't remember. No. It was, I'm sorry, I take that back. It was Eric Singer who wound up later. Anyway, doesn't matter. So they reunite. All right. And again, I use radio station connections to get these tickets to the reunion show in downtown Washington, D.C. Capitol Center was long gone. They tore it down. And this was at the time it was called the MCI Center. I think it's now Capital One Arena now.
Yeah, I don't even know.
In DC. All right. So it's where the Wizards play, and it's where
right. Yes.
All right. And now this time they have a big curtain all the way around it. And I said to my greatest wife ever, I handed her a couple of toilet paper. I'm like, here, put this in your ears. It's going to be so loud. It was so loud when I saw them, with the full stage show.
Right.
Oh, she's like, okay. She puts them in.
Okay.
And it's one of the best. You got the best, the hottest band in the world. Yes. Curtain drops, explosions, and I'm like,
it's an
did they turn it up, or I'm just kind of looking around. Like, it was done. It was well. It was mixed well, and so on and so forth. But yeah, that first experience was, I'm surprised I wasn't. I think I had permanent hearing damage from that first show, because I had a headache all the next day. Well, and ringing in my ears, and I still have tinnitus anyway. Is it tinnitus, whatever it's called?
Whatever.
Because of years of wearing headphones.
Right.
But as a radio DJ. So there you go. So John, let me throw it to you. Now, I'm going to say, when it comes to best concert I've ever seen, because I've seen a bunch. I've seen, oh, good Lord, Phil Collins, the Doobie Brothers. I saw Peter Gabriel. I've seen U2. I mean, you name it. I've seen all of the bands, all of the artists from back in the day. And I've seen a lot of club shows. I'm going to say the best show I've ever seen.
It's a lot. Yeah.
And it's going to be blasphemous. I know it is, because I've seen Kiss a bunch of times. I'm going to say, and I just enjoyed it. I enjoyed it so much because I can enjoy it as a musician. I can enjoy it as a fan. I can enjoy it because, we had the money to get some pretty good seats.
Right. Okay.
Foo Fighters.
Foo Fighters.
Foo Fighters, hands down, hands
Wow.
down. Probably, yeah. I'm gonna put it
I
at
would
the top.
imagine that would be pretty good.
I'm gonna put it at the top. And I've seen Paul McCartney. I saw Paul McCartney at the in Washington D.C. on the 4th of July with him singing "Hey America, they say it's your birthday." Pretty cool,
right?
But
like that.
Sorry, Foo Fighters.
Foo Fighters.
Foo Fighters. How to say it? Have to say it. I know it's bluff.
Wow.
John, what about you?
I had to think about this for a second because I've seen a lot of great concerts.
Right.
You know, top of mind came like Chicago during the 17 tour at the Spectrum, and it wasn't for the seats that I had because I was in the rafters, but just because it was so good. Other came to mind, a group nobody's heard of called Transatlantic, which played at a small venue in Philadelphia, but they played their album that was out entire way through, which it only stops one time to flip the theoretical album over, which it doesn't. It plays all the way through. No, final one that I would go with, not for the spectacle, but for the pure musicianship of it. Alan Parsons. I saw him and his touring band in Jacksonville, Florida after we moved down here, and lifelong fan of it. And just to be able to see Sir Alan Parsons in the flesh, actually singing some of his songs, which he normally wouldn't do. And then the band, it was just technical profession. The musicianship was here. Just really good. So, I mean, not for the there were plenty of shows that I could name for the spectacle of it all.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
That were good. And I'm going to see, by the way, coming up here later this month, I'm going to see Asia.
Are you? Wow.
Yeah, now they've replaced their lead singer because John Wetton died.
Is Steve Howe still?
Nope, Steve's not playing. John Mitchell from let's see, Lonely Robot, It Bites, Frost. He's playing, and so it's kind of basically Jeff Downs is the band, and they've got a YouTube singer. You got to look it up though. I was not going to go. Not going to go. And then I looked up the guy who was singing, and I saw what they saw to put him eventually in the John Wetton tribute when John died to sing the songs. And I was like, holy crap, nobody else could have pulled this off. This is really good. Plus, Focus is going to be playing them. You remember Focus?
You mean Hocus Pocus? Yodel, yodel, yodel.
Yeah, they're one of the opening acts. They're apparently a product.
Actors, Focus. Come to Asia.
Can't wait to hear them do that.
Community Center.
At the North Charleston Performing Arts Center.
I do, now also on my list, there are a lot of club shows I've seen.
Oh, same. Howard Jones is another one that was
in my top 5. Okay. And it was a buddy of mine who took me to see these guys at the 930 Club. There are 2 930 clubs. This was the original 930 Club, which was at 930.
Yep.
I forget what street it is. It's a legendary club venue in Washington, D.C. And it's known just kind of like CBGB's in New York.
Yeah.
A lot of those punk bands and early bands that played there played at the 930 Club. So Talking Heads, Ramones, it's got a legendary people that played there. But we went to go see this band, and I just remember distinctly going downstairs in this venue. And it was
there's a downstairs.
There was if my memory serves.
Okay.
And we saw this band out of Boston. I'd never heard them before, but I love the name of the band, Scruffy the Cat. And Scruffy the Cat played at the 930 Club, and I loved every second of it. 4 pieces. Charlie Chesterman, lead singer. Anyway, it was kind of like a country music, 2-step in country music played through Marshall amplifiers. That kind of heavy hard driving.
Yeah.
Look up Scruffy the Cat on Spotify or whatever.
Heard you talk about them before.
Yeah. Songs. Well, I mean, they were an influence on us because then the band I was in the 90s was called Pat the Dog. So there's
it's Scruffy the Cat.
See the little.
I get it.
See the way that worked.
Yeah. That was another great show. one of my favorite, Marillion, played 930 Club.
There you go, a 930. Yeah,
during the height of their one of my favorite albums from them, and they were just. It was cool being able to see, them during a big show for them touring the States, which they never do. And then at one point, I think during a thing where the keyboard player, vocalist Steve Hogarth was just singing, just him. The guitar player just walked out into the audience, went over to the stand and got like a beer, grabbed one, and then walked back through the audience. It's like, this is
man, you can't beat that. You can't beat that. That's like awesome.
That kind of stuff. So
another one that you would appreciate, John.
Yeah.
And I know your wife would, because she saw them in the early days when they were 3-piece and they would play in like Ocean City. But Tommy Conwell and the Young Rumblers.
Yeah, we actually have had talks.
They were just called the Young Rumblers, though. It wasn't Tommy Conwell. It was just called the Young Rumblers. They were a 3-piece, kind of a bluesy band.
You need to talk to Stacy about that.
About what?
Apparently at one point she had 3 of the Young Rumblers or something in her car.
Yeah, no, I think I've
heard that story. Not Tommy.
I mean, yeah, no,
but yeah,
Chris Day and the drummer Jim Hannum. I do know that. I do know that story.
Yeah, okay.
It was in
here.
It was in Ocean
My
City.
wife was a good girl, but
no, I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying.
Apparently, the band members like to party.
No, I did know that.
Yes,
I did know that.
And Tommy,
but that was
didn't. So.
I saw them when they were a 5-piece. They hadn't been signed yet
with Rob Miller. And,
yeah. I saw them at the Bayou in Georgetown, which was another great place to see.
Everybody's like, who are these people that?
Right, who are these guys? I mean, there was a song, "Million Pretty Girls," that Tommy Conwell would do, and he would walk out out into the crowd and play his guitar.
Yeah,
but at the Bayou, he slung his guitar back behind him. He climbed up into into the balcony section, which went all the way around. It was a horseshoe around the outside of the perimeter. And then just stood and played guitar and walked from table to tabletop, and then looked across our tabletop. And then, it was amazing. And he didn't miss a beat. Played, he just did all of there he is. Now that's their Columbia release. That was the Columbia release.
Yeah.
Tommy Conwell, the second from the right.
This guy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Him.
That guy right there. That's Tommy. And Paul Slivka is to his left. He had the combat boots and the punk hair. He was the bass player. Jim Hannum is to his left, and he's the drummer.
Yeah.
And he had the weirdest drum setup I've ever seen in a billion years. It was just odd. It was just strange.
Yeah.
The way he had it set up. He had toms where there should be cymbals and cymbals where there should be toms and this and that. And I'm like, is he right-handed? Is he left-handed? What is he doing? What are his feet doing? I couldn't. It was hard to follow.
Yeah.
And then the guy on the far right, Chris Day.
Which way? This side?
Yeah, that guy. That's okay. Chris Day. He was they added him as a guitar player, multi-instrumentalist. And then on the far left, he came from the Hooters.
That's Rob Miller, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keyboard player, and then occasionally would play guitar.
Yeah, because he broke his hand when the Hooters or something like that, when the Hooters were going to go out to do their first big release or something. There's some story about that somewhere. I could be wrong.
By the way, just to fill you in, if you don't know who any of these people are, let me just fill you in. Before there was a restaurant called Hooters, there was a band called The Hooters. And the Hooters are the little things you can blow into, and you had a little keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
What's it called?
Melodica.
Right.
By the owner corporation.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go. So that's why they're called the Hooters.
But did you think it was very odd that you had a band called Tommy Conwell and the Young Rumblers?
Yeah.
And they named their release, their album, Rumble?
That was because that's their.
Just stupid.
That is, John, we have to do this, by the way. We have to do this show. I haven't done this show.
Okay.
And I keep promising I'm going to do this show because I'm going to talk about these guys right here and how they got ruined by Columbia Records. And then I'm going to talk about another guy who is Jason Faulkner, who also got ruined by his release. He was a solo release and multi-instrumentalist on. Is he back here? Where is he? There he is. See the bare naked ladies?
Mm-hmm.
that bare naked lady's right there. All right,
Right.
that guy right there is Jason Faulkner, and that's the cover of his album. Jason Faulkner presents Author Unknown. So that's another '90s story. One's from the '80s, one's from the '90s of artists that should have made it, should have been bigger. And
another one is Alpha Rev. Look them up.
I've heard you mention them before.
Yeah, who got dropped had a huge first album and then got dropped by Disney's label, and then that was it. They've never
Hollywood Records.
Yeah, it was Hollywood Records.
Hollywood Records. Yeah.
They had like a huge hit that was on the show. But again, there are stories like this left and right.
Oh, tons. Yeah. So it's the whole thing of an artist trying to get signed, and then the mechanism behind them after they're signed, and the PR, and how much money is funded to them for them to record the first album. And did they already have a first album? Did they, some people nowadays are just self-publishing, and they're finding them, the labels are finding them on TikTok or wherever they're existing, or on Spotify. And then that's okay. So started me down this road, dude. I know. That is a self-produced and self-released album from Tommy Conwell and the Young Rumblers called "Walking on the Water," which was the name of a song that was on the album.
Great song.
All they had to do is, do I have enough time? I don't have enough time.
No, you don't.
All they had to do was take that back in, have it remastered, maybe overdub a couple of things, and just release that. By the way, Columbia Records, that's all they had to do.
Released on Antenna Records, who released the Hooters first album as well.
Well, they had the same manager.
Yeah,
who got them the same deal. But I remember reading an article in Rolling Stone magazine about a bidding war that was going on between two bands. Well, two bands that everybody was clamoring for. They were local favorites. And these record labels were getting into bidding wars. And one was Tommy Conwell and the Young Rumblers, and the other one was
Jane's Addiction. Yeah, I remember reading the same article. Just funny.
All right, enough of that. Enough. Oh, by the way, put in your comment section favorite show you've ever seen, favorite concert you've ever been to. I also like to throw it out there as if you've ever seen anybody before they were big, you saw them open up for somebody. Because at this very same Foo Fighters show that I loved so much, it was the oh no, it's not the Shins. I can't remember what they were called. The Struts. Okay. Look them up. Fantastic band. I've never seen an opening band that nobody knew. Okay, I didn't know anything from them. Had the crowd on their feet. The opening band had the crowd on the feet, and he was a hype man for the Foo Fighters. He said, "The Foo Fighters are coming up, blah blah blah. Stand on your feet." He had everybody up and running and just having a great time. That lead singer was amazing. The Struts, I would say, look them up. They're a great band. They're a lot of fun.
Awesome.
They're kind of in the same vein as the I Believe in a Thing Called Love.
Oh yeah, those guys.
I love those guys. The name is escaping me right now.
Very far from Hocus Pocus by Focus. It didn't come that far from the.
No, not that far. You're right.
Y'all need to look that one up. That was a 70s song.
Focus? Hocus Pocus?
Hocus Pocus by Focus.
Yeah. Dun 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 dun. That was a great guitar riff. All right. Anyway, are you ready, John?
Our entire audience. Okay.
Yeah, good. I'm sorry. I apologize. After a while, it's just the darkness. Thank you, Mike. I could not come up with a name to. He just posted that. Sherry posted, yes, I saw the Tragically Hip at the Friendship Festival in Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada, before they were popular. Before they were popular in Canada, because they never really crossed over to the U.S. But you hear about Tragically Hip all the time. The greatest Canadian band that didn't really cross the border over into the U.S.
But instead, we got Chilliwack. Now, were they from? No, they weren't Canada. No, they weren't.
Gone. You've been gone so long. You've been gone so long. I remember that song.
Second City TV has a wonderful bit with John.
Yeah, no, I saw it. I saw that bit.
Chilliwack. Prom, Chilliwack. I think it was a Canadian band.
What's the other one I'm thinking of now? Sausalito Summer Nights. Diesel. Where are they from? Are they from Canada as well? Oh,
Yes, they mentioned Chesapeake. No, maybe it was. No, I'm thinking.
No, you're thinking Starbucks. Right. You're thinking Starbucks.
We left for Frisco in a Rambler. The radiator running dry.
Well, see, you know these things.
California, given it was Sausalito, but maybe not.
Correct.
Okay.
I would guess. Probably.
Do we have a question that we need to ask?
We do. All right. Yeah, here we go.
Trying to get it back on track.
It's time to get the gray matter working. Fire all the synapses, engage the frontal lobe, form new neural networks, utilize the cerebrum. As Pooh says, it's time
to think.
Dang, it's the dun. Question of the day. Hold on. Sidebar. So I saw this joke, and it says this woman's driving, and she's got her daughter in the backseat of the car, and she's like 5, and asks, "Mommy, where does poo come from?" And so she explains about eating and so on and so forth. And the daughter sitting there goes, "What about Tigger?"
Oh, yeah. It's we.
Yeah, okay, here we go. Today's question of the day.
Nice one.
All right, here we go. Taylor Swift's Eras Tour is currently and will probably forevermore be the highest grossing tour of all time. Elton John's Farewell Yellow Brick Road is number 2.
Oh, I know.
What British band holds down the number 3 position, in which they're still in the midst of their tour with a 4-night stand in Rome starting Friday? Name of the band. One more time. Taylor Swift's Eras Tour is the highest grossing tour of all time. Elton John's Farewell Yellow Brick Road is number 2. What British band holds down the number 3 position, in which they're still in the midst of their tour and a 4-night stand in Rome starting Friday? What is this band? Put your answers in the comment section and good luck.
I'm so excited when I know the answer.
You knew this? You know this? Immediately?
Yeah.
Right off the top of your head?
I think this is pretty obvious.
Is it really obvious?
I could be wrong then. See, now you're making me
I don't know.
Things.
I didn't think it was that obvious, but I guess it could be.
Okay. Maybe it's not obvious because we have no questions yet.
We have no answers?
We may have to, or answers. Yeah.
Do we have to stall for time? Oh, no, we got an answer. Come on. It's a British band. They're on tour right now. Huge.
Oh, come on, people.
You can't not.
Come on.
Easy, John.
Easy. You know this.
We think it's that obvious, but that's only because I looked it up.
There's an answer.
All right, here we go.
Sherry has answered.
All right, here we go. Let's see it. Rolling Stones. See? Great answer. But that's what you call a red herring because, yeah, they're British, but no, they are not at number 3 in highest grossing.
Okay, tour. Sherry, I was with you. That was where I was going.
Oh, no.
Oh, really? Yeah, that's where I was going.
I'll give you a super
British on tour right now.
Right now. I'll give you a super duper give it away clue.
Another one. I know it.
Super duper give it away clue. Do you want one?
Well, I mean, in a second, maybe.
Okay. All right. We have another answer?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
You've stumped.
Not the Rolling Stones. Not the Rolling Stones.
Maybe people thought it was too obvious, like me. I don't know. Sherry. Oh, wait, hold on. Hold on. Stand by.
We got another one. No, Zach. It is not
a good one, though. That was a good guess, Zach.
Not Queen. That is another good guess. You're going to kick yourself when you find out who it is. It's the 3rd highest grossing tour of all time.
Of all time.
They're in the middle of it right now.
I have a thought.
They started in 2022. They had they had to add 2 dates because the 2 dates in Rome sold out. So they added 2 more.
2?
All right, I'll give you.
Wait, hold on.
I'll give you another clue. No, I got to give you another.
No,
I got to give you another clue.
Stand by.
We got it. Here we go. Boom.
That's the one that
it is. Mike said Coldplay.
Way to go, Mike.
Coldplay.
Thank
Nice
you.
job,
Thank you.
Mike.
Thank you. Thank you. Mike. Yeah,
One of those things where you're like, you
wait.
think I didn't know it until I looked it up. Okay, so I'm just telling you, I didn't. If you'd asked me, I would have
No,
said I
you
would
know
have said
what?
Rolling Stones would have been my answer. Then I probably
Right.
would have said U2 and then realized they're Irish. But still,
Yeah, well,
it's
honestly, after you eliminated the Rolling Stones for me, immediately I went to Coldplay.
did you? Did you?
I did, honestly.
It's
I
that's
just
right,
think
Mike.
it's a
Mike, it's
little
hashtag pride, not prize. Carry that around with you all week. You are the man. I
Yep.
really appreciate that. Congratulations. That's fantastic.
You know what, Ron?
Coldplay, yeah, they're in the middle of their tour right now. Four dates in Rome, starting on Friday.
I think next time we do this,
Yeah.
in the private chat, I'm going to put my answer.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right.
So like I can put my card in,
Sure.
you know, into the little slot, and so it lights up.
Wow.
Oh, this one.
So I brought it up last week because we had some
I like the good sportsmanship of Sherry saying, "Way to go, Mike."
nice, Sherry. Good job. I appreciate that.
Very nice.
Very nice. And by the way, thanks for watching us on Facebook and on our YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button and
Or Twitter.
Or on Twitter or X.
Or X,
Whatever you call it. It's an X video. It's an X video, John. Oh my God. So I mentioned this last week, and I just wanted to step into it a little bit, and it goes into my name that you can see on let me tell you my story.
Okay.
That is, I mispronounced.
There we go.
I'm sure I had toddlerisms that, my parents remembered me mispronouncing, but the one that I remember doing because I was a little older, and for some reason, I just could not come up with the word asparagus. I knew we were having it for dinner. Not a big fan, but whatever, put in front of me, just eat it, whatever. Mom would boil it into oblivion, and I just couldn't come up with the name. Could not put it together for some reason. The synapses were just not firing.
That happened.
So I said, "Are we having spargarius?" That's it. I said it once, and I've heard it my entire life. I'm turning 60. and so I'm going to say
now
55 years, 56 years. I've been hearing that word all the time. I said it once. Could not come up with it. So
putting that aside to remember. Yeah.
So I just remember now. I still to this day, I hear, did you have any grilled spargarius? Okay. Thank you.
Get it.
Thanks.
But like Paschetti.
Now the ones, right. Exactly. Now I don't tease our daughters about their toddlerisms because I loved and I just had committed them to memory, and I loved them so much. So daughter, the elder, said flamingos. All right. Babloons was another good one. I like that one. Flutterbys, which makes sense if you think about it.
Flutterbys. Yeah, they just flutter by.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that.
Like, I might just change what I call them to flutterbys. Mm-hmm. Also, mashed potatoes. She couldn't go see a movie because it was rated R. Rated R. Mm-hmm. And then, and I say that occasionally on this show because I still say it. Greatest Wife Ever and I say it to each other. It's not agenda, it's judgenda. She had an agenda for school. Now, daughter the younger had the when she's in the back seat in the car seat, said to her mother, "Can you see me in the ruby mirror?" I knew exactly what she was talking about. The ruby mirror. And York, she would juxtapose the Y and the N, and I never corrected her. And I think somebody said something to her at school because then she came home and she's like, "Why didn't you ever?" I'm like, "I don't know. I didn't want you to feel bad about it." Yeah. So those are the toddlerisms of our girls. Mike says, "I have a coworker that says ostrich when they mean asterisk."
It's pretty funny. I would have a hard time not laughing if I heard that.
Do you remember some from your boys?
You know what? I don't. I was just thinking back to my youth, though. And no, I mean there were things like I remember my kids singing in the car and messing up lyrics, and I think we might have even mentioned that previously. But which got me to thinking about me messing up lyrics as a kid too.
Yeah,
but like Big Old Jed had a light on. Big Old Jed had a light on.
Don't carry me too far away.
Yeah. It's funny because now you have the
all the funky kicks going down.
Yeah, exactly. You've got the A word back here, right? And when she plays music,
right,
it'll display the lyrics. And there have been times I've gone and looked at it and gone, really? That's what they're saying?
Is that what it is? Yes. Was that what they were saying?
But yeah, no, I'm trying to think, toddlerisms. Really, I should have been more prepared, and I'm not. And we're running out of time.
All right, well, you know what? We'll do it next week.
Yeah.
No rules. No rules. We're talking about this next week. So now you also have a week to prepare and give me your toddlerisms and post them up on our Facebook page.
I did go back at one point. We found one of our one of those early cameras that they had that was just like this little white box, and you would shoot stuff with it and had a tiny little screen. I can't remember what they were called. And you would put them in the USB, like they had a flip out USB thing. Anyway, the kids had one of those. And at some point in the last couple of years, I was like, oh, what's this? And I'd put it in, and I had video that was shot by my younger son, Andrew, of us and his brother. And at some point he turns to his brother and he goes, weirdo. I'm like, oh my God, this is priceless. Just, he was giving rolling commentary on one of our vacations or something. So I encourage everybody to go through their drawers of compact flash drives and everything else where you might have stored stuff and go back and look at it.
Siblings are
never saw it before and had me cracking up for hours. Weirdo.
Great.
Anyway,
great.
I will find some, toddlerisms.
All right. Well, we've run over time. And thank you so much. Wait a minute. Hold on. Celeste says, when I was little, I said hydrant frigent instead of fire hydrant. Hydrant frigent. No. Okay. I get it. Hydrant frigent. I like that. I like it.
Come up with more of yours, because this would be a good topic. Yeah. Let's do that with
Lindsay. I like yours. Right. I'm going to go have some grilled spargarius.
Spagarius. Yes. With some Paschetti on the side.
Paschetti. Did you say Paschetti?
Oh, I think I did.
Yeah. How can you not?
My kid probably said that too.
Probably. Yeah. Who wouldn't?
Yeah.
Who wouldn't? All right. So look, thank you so much for hanging out with us on a just a regular old Tuesday in the dead of summer. Here we go. This is it, man. The 4th of July is over, and now we're entering into the dog days. And of course, the stores are filled with back to school now.
Yep.
It's painful. And I know Joanne's Fabrics has already got fall is out, and Joanne.
Yeah.
And Greatest Wife Ever was telling me, I forget what store it was, but it was dollar store. So it's the $1.25 store. And she
or $1.50 store.
We don't
everything under $5.
They raised everything a 25% raise, and we're like, oh, it's only a quarter. It's still a 25% raise.
Yeah, but it's cumulative. It's not just one thing.
In prices. Everything. I know, is what I'm saying. Anyway.
Right. Anyway. That's a rant for another day.
She said there it was, it was summer, 4th of July stuff. And then above that was fall, and top shelf was
Christmas.
Halloween. And then Christmas is already out. Already out.
Coming.
July. Not even mid-July. It's still early July. And get out of my yard. All right. Listen. I'm just gonna get a sound effect of Abe
from the Simpsons.
Abe Simpson. Yeah. Hey, good.
I'm gonna work on that for next show.
I'm starting to sound like that when I sit down and stand up now.
I think
now when I sit down, I go eep up orc. Anybody get that?
Yep.
I know the Greatest Wife Ever gets it.
Up.
You get eep up orc.
Oop eep Up.
No, wrong. No, no. Eep, op, orc,
Okay.
Sit on that for a week and let's reconvene back here next week.
All right.
And we'll see where I got that from.
All right.
All right. Thank you so much for watching us live on our video channels. And thank you so much for listening to us. I really, really appreciate it. Watch the Facebook page. I'll be posting some stuff a little bit later on. I need to bring back I keep saying I'm going to bring it back, but I haven't brought back the what TH is it. So I'm going to bring that back.
Right.
So we can have some fun with that. So listen, please take care of yourselves. Thank you so much. Please take care of yourselves and each other. Hydrate. And listen, thank you so much. The John Yaglenski's over there. I'm Ron Ross. Love you, mean it. Bicycle.
Bye now. Bye-bye. Getting the end straight.